What is going on, Trash Talkers? We're back with another episode for you. In today's video, we're going to give you our Week 10 NFL Power Rankings. All that and much more coming your way right now! Hey Trash Talkers, over 85% of you are still not subscribed to the channel. Please be sure to hit that red subscribe button and turn on notifications, as it will help us create more daily content for you. Thank you and enjoy today's video. Alright Nick, Week 9 is officially in the books. We saw a lot of up and down matchups throughout the entire weekend, and I'm honestly glad to put Week 9 behind us and say it never happened. I just can't, I don't want to ever talk about that again. But with that, we have Week 10 on the horizon, and I believe that we're going to see some corrections in the NFL. And that starts with the power rankings. We have to kind of move some of these teams around for the awfulness that they put on the field in Week 9 and beyond. Nick, 32-31, you know the deal. Let us know who we got here.
Yeah, it hasn't changed, and coming back in, we have the Detroit Lions. Lucky for them, they were on a bye. Unfortunately, it doesn't help them move anywhere in the power rankings. They are still the only winless team in the NFL. And then at 31, the Houston Texans. Look, Tyrod Taylor's back, yay! Except he threw 3 interceptions, no touchdowns, and the Miami Dolphins defeat them with Jacoby Brissett. The Houston Texans are just down right now. There's nothing they can do. They got their quarterback back, and it seems like it did absolutely nothing. Right now, you just think that this team has got to prepare for the future and see what they have talent-wise on the roster and where they need to make adjustments.
The Detroit Lions are like the only team that can lose during the bye week, and I think they might have. Just throwing that out there. All right, next up we have 30 through 21, where we see the Chicago Bears at 30, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Miami Dolphins, the Washington Football Team, the New York Jets, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Carolina Panthers, the New York Giants, the Seattle Seahawks, and the San Francisco 49ers rounded out at 21. Nick, out of all these teams, which ones surprised you the most?
Yeah, the Carolina Panthers. Look, I knew that the Patriots were going to have a good game this week, but I didn't think the Carolina Panthers offense would just be that locked down against what I consider a very weak secondary for the Patriots. The Carolina Panthers with DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, getting CMC back, you would have think that they could put up at least a touchdown, maybe 2, but they couldn't put up anything. In fact, Sam Darnold was abysmal. He might have been worse than Tyrod Taylor. He threw 3 interceptions himself, and he looked horrible. He was off balance. He didn't look like he had chemistry with the players. He was trying to force balls into positions where he had no reason to throw that ball. Sam Darnold is a big reason as to why this team is struggling right now. That defense is for real. That pass rush is insane. Brian Burns, Hassan Riddick, Derek Brown on the defensive line, like, these guys are incredible. And now Stefan Gilmore, 2 games, 2 interceptions against his former team. This defense is incredible, and you, just like the Saints, you don't want it to go to waste just because of a porous offense. Maybe they should have made a move for Deshaun Watson when they had the opportunity. Now they're going to have to wait till next season, but Sam Darnold definitely doesn't look like he is the answer for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, the Carolina Panthers definitely struggled, but a team that is currently on the rise, the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's right, the Jacksonville Jaguars are here to play, vying for a playoff spot in the AFC. I'm just kidding. They did take down the AFC's #1 sweetheart, the #1 contending Buffalo Bills. The Bills walked into Jacksonville like they didn't even need to play, like they deserved the victory just for showing up. And the Jacksonville Jaguars had other things in mind. Trevor Lawrence, 15 of 26 for 118 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. So pretty terrible stat line if you're thinking about it. He was knocked out of the game for a little bit, where you saw CJ Beathard come in, who was 2 for 2, 33 yards. As soon as Lawrence came back, he got strip sacked for a fumble, and it went the Buffalo Bills' way. They could do nothing with it. A 9-6 victory for the Jacksonville Jaguars on the Buffalo Bills is disgusting. Carlos Hyde is your leading rusher, 21 carries, 67 yards. That's 3.2 yards per carry. Your leading receiver, tight end Dan Arnold, who you traded for from the Carolina Panthers. That's right, 4 catches, 60 yards. Then you have Jamal Agnew as number 2, 3 catches, 27. Laviska Shenault, 4 for 24, and Marvin Jones, 3 for 21. Everybody else either had 1 or no catches. This is not a team that should have won based on all of these stats that we're putting out here. Not a single touchdown was scored in this game, and you have Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, and Josh Allen and the Jacksonville Jaguars. And that's kind of where I want to talk about the Jaguars just for a second. Josh Allen for the Jaguars had 8 tackles, 1 sack, an interception, and a fumble recovery on Josh Allen from the Buffalo Bills. First time we saw that in NFL history. A player with the same name was able to do all of that. Now, I just believe that the Jacksonville Jaguars have to use this as an opportunity to move the momentum forward. They have to get Trevor Lawrence moving. I need to see the Jacksonville Jaguars continue to build on this. I think that they can definitely make some noise in their division a little bit, especially with how bad the Texans are. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are moving right on up these power rankings. All right, next up we have 20 through 11, where we start with the Cincinnati Bengals falling all the way to 20, the Denver Broncos, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Atlanta Falcons, the New Orleans Saints, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Minnesota Vikings, the Cleveland Browns, and the Indianapolis Colts at 11. Nick, out of these teams, which one surprised you the most?
Yeah, the Las Vegas Raiders, the team I love to talk the most about. They're down bad right now with Henry Ruggs and John Gruden a couple weeks ago. Now we learn about Damon Arnett, but prior to his release, we saw that the Raiders lost to the New York Giants that didn't have Kenny Golladay, that didn't have Saquon Barkley. It's incredible that the Las Vegas Raiders have these incredible games against such great talent. And then when they have what seems to be an easy game in front of them, Darren Waller's there, Josh Jacobs is there, Derek Carr has Bryan Edwards to work with. I just think that the Raiders are still playing down to their competition. Doesn't matter who the coach is. The Raiders need to find something within themselves to really light a fire under them to play at their highest level, because we've seen them play at their best and they're incredible. If they could just find a way to be consistent about it, this team has no limits. This team can go all the way. They can be at the top. I really like the Las Vegas Raiders. I have high hopes for them in the future. But right now, they're stuck in this lull where they lose to bad teams and win in great games.
Las Vegas Raiders have definitely lost their fair share of players throughout the season, but so have the Atlanta Falcons. And the Atlanta Falcons obviously lost Calvin Ridley to personal issues that he's dealing with away from the sport of football, and we wish him nothing but the best moving forward. But the Falcons still have to play football games, and they did so pretty well against the division rival New Orleans Saints. The Atlanta Falcons came into this game, and they had one thing on their mind: pass the ball. They used former MVP Matt Ryan, and he looked like a former MVP. 23 of 30 for 343 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mike Davis and Cordero Patterson anemic in the rushing game. Both had 9 carries, total of 23 yards, just absolutely terrible. But the receiving game, Cordero Patterson, 6 catches, 126 yards. Russell Gage, 7 catches, 64. Kyle Pitts, 3 for 62. Olamide Zaccheaus, 3 for 58 and 2 touchdowns. Incredible day receiving wise. I think this offense has to run through Matt Ryan if they're going to have a chance, because they don't have the Todd Gurley. They don't have the guy who's going to really get you the yards that they used to have. They need to focus on getting their yards through the air, and without Calvin Ridley, it got that much harder, but they can do it, as they showed against one of the best defenses that we've seen in the NFL this season. The New Orleans Saints gave up 27 points to the Atlanta Falcons. I really like what the Falcons are doing. That's why they're not only high up on our ranking right now, but they're in the playoff picture in the NFC as the 7th seed. Look for the Atlanta Falcons to really play upset card in their division and throughout the conference.
And for our top 10, starting with number 10, the Los Angeles Chargers. They had a very close game against the Philadelphia Eagles, coming down to a last-minute field goal. The Los Angeles Chargers did show some improvement coming off of that loss to New England. The offense looked like it was finally getting going. Mike Williams had some big plays. Keenan Allen was incredible. And then Austin Eckler had a very solid performance as well. Justin Herbert had a very solid game as well. They definitely have room for improvement, though. The Philadelphia Eagles, they've been able to put up yards on people, but really not too many points besides the Detroit Lions. I was surprised that they were able to put up that many points on the Los Angeles Chargers. This is where the weaknesses are. This is where they need to strengthen up. They've got to be able to cover guys like Dallas Goedert, Quez Watkins, Devonta Smith. These guys have to be covered if they're going to make a playoff push. Right now, the Los Angeles Chargers have the offense, but they just need to work on the defense.
You talked about the Chargers having to rebound from the New England Patriots. Well, that's who we see at number 9, is the New England Patriots find themselves a half a game out of the AFC East right now, behind the Buffalo Bills, coming off of their 3rd consecutive victory against the Carolina Panthers. They have bludgeoned Sam Darnold every time they see him, and they continue to do so. Darnold seeing ghosts when the Patriots defense is on the field. J.C. Jackson, 2 interceptions, one going for an 88-yard interception for a touchdown. Then you also saw incredible defensive line play. Nothing on the ground got going for Christian McCaffrey or even Chuba Hubbard when he was out on the field. DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson were held to very minimal yardage all day long. We saw Sam Darnold constantly under pressure, and on the offensive side of the ball, Mac Jones, not his best day. He had a fumble loss. He had an interception to Stefan Gilmore. But at the end of the day, the 3-headed rushing attack with Brandon Bolden, Ramondre Stevenson, and Damian Harris, all of them gaining a ton of yards, really carving up this defense, keeping the clock running, allowing this offense to keep moving down the field, was the big victory here. The Patriots are definitely worth the top 10, and they sit here at number 9.
The Patriots are looking good, but like you said, the Buffalo Bills are still in front of them, and that's why they come in here at number 8. The Buffalo Bills, man, they had a tough loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars, but they are still one of the best teams in the AFC. Just because they have a down week every so often doesn't mean that they don't have the talent to go and obliterate the rest of the competition on any given day. The Buffalo Bills just need to work on a couple things. The offensive line's got to get a little bit stronger. Josh Allen's got to be a little bit more decisive with the football. Maybe Brian Daboll needs to start working in some shorter yard passes, not trying to go for the deep bomb every time. They got to stop playing down to the competition. This goes for a lot of teams. You have the ability to just demolish your competition, yet you're letting them stay with you because you're not trying your hardest. You're not taking them seriously. And the Buffalo Bills got to work on that because they're going to have an easy game here and there for the rest of the season that they're going to drop if they don't pick up the slack. The Buffalo Bills should be one of the best teams, if not the best team in the NFL right now, and they are here at number 8 because they just keep on messing up when they have easy games.
Just like the Buffalo Bills, the Dallas Cowboys, who are at number 7, find themselves in a terrible situation following the Week 9. The Denver Broncos coming into Jerry World in Dallas, Texas, and just absolutely taking the rails off of this team. Dak Prescott could not find an open receiver all day long. He was under duress. Even without Von Miller, now him being in Los Angeles, the Broncos look like a whole new team. It's unreal. Teddy Bridgewater looked like Dak Prescott out there. He was hitting open receivers left, right, and center. The rushing game with Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon was just absolutely phenomenal. There is not much more you can say. The Denver Broncos whooped the Dallas Cowboys, but the Cowboys, to this point, have been one of the star teams, and I say that with a pun intended. They are one of the star teams in the NFL, and they belong in the top 10. They find themselves falling right now, but they have to stop it here. It just helps that they're in a very easy division.
Coming in at number 6, the Los Angeles Rams, another team with a terrible loss. With the Tennessee Titans down bad, Derrick Henry out for the season. That's some of the worst news any team could ever get. Your best player is out for the remainder of the season, and now you have to go and try to win without him. Well, the Tennessee Titans were able to do that against the full-strength Los Angeles Rams. Matthew Stafford is supposed to be this god that just came from Detroit. You just traded 3 picks for him, and guess what? Cooper Kupp, the number 1 receiver in the league, he's not a big weapon. Robert Woods, he's not really that big. Darrell Henderson's trying, but in the end, he's not able to get the job done. This offense is extremely high-powered, so high-powered that you just released Deshaun Jackson. Now you're going and losing against a team that doesn't have their best weapon, albeit they have A.J. Brown and Julio Jones, but they didn't have the biggest games of their career. Ryan Tannehill didn't have to do that much, and he made mistakes. The Los Angeles Rams, again, are one of those teams that has incredible talent and can go beat just about every single team in the NFL whenever they want. But these are the games you have to win. These are the games that are going to matter in the end, whether you are the number 1 seed and have a bye week, or if you're playing in the wild card and you don't want to be that team. If you have the opportunity to get that bye week, it is very valuable. Do not let it go. The Los Angeles Rams will fix this, but they got to fix it now and not let it happen again.
You know who else is competing for a bye week for the playoffs? The Baltimore Ravens. That's who we see at number 5. The Ravens are one of the most dynamic offenses with Lamar Jackson, who at this point could be the leading MVP vote getter with how bad Dak Prescott and Josh Allen played this week. Lamar Jackson's right up there with them, and he was absolutely phenomenal. He did so much for this offense, really getting them going when they needed a boost, really focusing on getting first downs, really working on his passing mechanics, getting receivers involved. At the end of the day, the Baltimore Ravens did what they needed to get a big victory over the Minnesota Vikings. It did come in overtime. They find themselves rising because they are one of the best teams in the AFC, one of the best teams in the NFL. And when you have Lamar Jackson, you are one of the most dynamic teams, not a team that anybody wants to face. Good luck to their competition moving forward.
Now at number 4, I finally get to talk some good graces about a team, the Tennessee Titans, as I just mentioned. Missing Derrick Henry, look, that's horrible, but the way they have rebounded since losing him is incredible. You have a game where everybody's rooting against you, and you really have no reason to put your all into it, but they put 110% into everything. This defense is completely turning it around. It really seems like Mike Vrabel has regrasped this team, and they're playing out of their minds. This is what you expect from this defense. The Tennessee Titans are finally back where they belong as true contenders in the AFC. And as long as Adrian Peterson and Jeremy McNichols start to get more ingrained into this offense, and they can be those bell cows to somewhat replace Derrick Henry, then the Tennessee Titans have a really strong chance at continuing to be the number 1 team in the AFC. They have quite the talent. The secondary is impressing me every single week, and they're going to get stronger when they get some players back. The Tennessee Titans have a very bright future, and I really do believe that they will stay at the top of the AFC for a few more weeks.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers fall here at number 3, and they actually move up a spot without even having to play a game. Would you look at that? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers get better when they're not even playing. I don't even understand how that's possible, but with the fall of the Bills, they found themselves moving up. Listen, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are who we thought they were. And at the end of the day, they are the defending Super Bowl champions. They deserve the respect that they're getting. They sit here at number 3, and we'll see how they go moving forward.
At number 2, another great win. Arizona Cardinals. They didn't have DeAndre Hopkins, didn't have Kyler Murray, and it didn't matter. This offense was severely explosive. Christian Kirk, massive plays. James Conner, where did this guy come from? This isn't Pittsburgh Steelers James Conner. This guy is reborn. He is a different player. James Conner now becomes for the lead back for the foreseeable future with Chase Edmonds out, but that's what they really want to see because James Conner, 3 touchdowns, almost 100 yards rushing and receiving. This guy was a do-it-all weapon. This offense just finds more and more athletes and stars to go to. They have an endless pool of talent that they have to work with, and it showed that it doesn't matter if it's a divisional rival who knows you extremely well. It doesn't matter who you're facing. The Arizona Cardinals are going to be one of the best teams. They are adjusting to life without JJ, and they're looking stronger. They can adjust on the fly to no Kyler and no DeAndre, and it doesn't matter. This team is spectacular. Cliff Kingsbury is doing an incredible job, one of the strongest coaching staffs that we have seen so far this season. The Arizona Cardinals are the total package, and as they get stronger, they're going to continue to show that they are the best team in the NFC.
Well, they're not the best team in the NFC. In fact, the number 1 team we have are the Green Bay Packers, who did come off of a loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, so I understand Cardinals fans that you might be a little upset with this. However, the Green Bay Packers did not have that bad man Aaron Rodgers. They had Jordan Love, and they almost escaped coming out of Kansas City with a victory. They were within 6 points. And Jordan Love was terrible. This defense is one of the best in the NFL. Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones were phenomenal. They were just absolutely incredible. Did everything they were asked to do. Jordan Love just could not get out of his own way, continuing to not make the right reads, not make the right calls. He couldn't check out of plays at the line of scrimmage. It just seemed like he was a lame duck at quarterback. They would have been better off running one of Devontae Adams or Aaron Jones at quarterback than they were with Jordan Love, and that's the future. Good luck, Packers fans. You are not in for a good ride. Right now, the focus is on Aaron Rodgers and him coming back in Week 10 against the Seattle Seahawks. That's where the Packers are going to lie. That's why they stay here at number 1, because with Aaron Rodgers, they are the best team in the NFL, and you cannot count them out of any single game. The Green Bay Packers are your number 1 team in Week 10's power rankings.
The Green Bay Packers have a lot of potential, and I agree with you. Jordan Love was horrendous, and if he's the future, wow, this is going to be another rebuild for the Green Bay Packers. But I think that the Green Bay Packers defense is just absolutely incredible, and for them to only give 3 points to Mahomes, Hill, and Kelsey, even though they're not playing their best, it doesn't matter. Those guys are incredible talent, and it takes a lot of talent on the other end to stop them, and they did just that. I think that the Green Bay Packers defense is going to hold up their end of the bargain for the remainder of the season. They're going to be incredible. This is what was missing from last year, and as long as Aaron Rodgers continues to play at this MVP level, I think the Packers could definitely go all the way.
They're getting Jair Alexander back, and they're getting Aaron Rodgers back. You can't get much better than that. All right, well, I want to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments down below what you think of our power rankings. Which teams do we have too high, and which teams do we have too low? Let us know in the comment section down below. All right, well, that's going to be all for now. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.